I don't know where to start. I do have some notes, which I have no internet service, but I screenshot them, so I think I'm in good shape. I really want to thank Chris Vaccaro from the Alumni Association, who just works tirelessly for Sachem and kind of got me back into the fold. And can't thank him enough. He's right there. Can we give a big hand to Chris? I also want to thank Ms. Trombetta. I want to thank Assistant Principal Kevin Miller, Colleen Flanagan-Smith, and Jose Cruz. I also want to do a shout out to the Envirothon team, are they here? Who won just a spectacular award. So my 17-year-old graduated from West Hampton on Friday night. Small school, there's about this many people there. And I was talking to her last night, and I said, is there anything you could tell me for my talk tomorrow? And she's like, yeah, Dad, you're at school. Don't get in trouble. So really what I want to tell a story is, I really have one specific story that kind of defines my life, and it comes in two parts. I was an 8-year-old kid going to Waverly Avenue, and I wrote a poem for my grandmother who lived in the Bronx. And my grandmother said it was an amazing, amazing poem. And then a month later, she showed me this magazine called McCall's, and there was a section in there where kids wrote poems. And McCall's in that day had 8 or 10 million people read it. Eleanor Roosevelt wrote a monthly column till the day she died. And my grandmother said, I'm going to send this poem to McCall's. And I didn't think anything would happen. A couple of months later, I'm in the Bronx, and there's a magazine. And she said, Stephen, your poem is in the magazine. And I couldn't believe it. It was the first time I ever saw myself published. And it was just amazing. Here I was, an 8-year-old kid in this magazine with a poem that I wrote. So I took the poem and I cut it out and I brought it to the bus stop. And I thought it would be a really cool thing to show my friends. Boy, was I wrong. I was ridiculed. And then the next day on the bus, they all had their own poems. The people you surround yourself with need to be your cheerleaders. And they need to be happy for all your accomplishments. And if they're not, then they can't be part of your life. So I never wrote any more poems. And the next part I want to say is, if you love doing something, that's awesome. And if you're good at it or great at it, that's triply awesome. So let's rewind now to, I'm 50 years old. And I'm writing a story about my life. And someone said the 10,000 hours. I definitely did 10,000 hours on this book, so maybe that helped it get to number 1. So I'm 2 years in, and my mother comes out to the house. She's like, what are you writing? I go, I'm writing about a story about my life. I'm writing about Linwood Avenue and Pizza Stop and my friends and my abusive father. And she's like, oh, nobody's going to want to read about that. I said, really? She goes, yeah, you're always with Derek Jeter, and you go into the ESPYs, and you just did that farewell tour for Mariano Rivera. You should write about all that stuff. That's what people want to read about. So she leaves after the weekend, and I'm questioning myself. I'm like, I don't know, it's my mother, she loves me. What should we do here? And I'm a 50-year-old guy at this point. I'm not, the little kid writing poems. So I decided to write the book. And I finished writing the book about my life. It took 3.5 years. And interesting enough, in June of 2014, my book came out, Derek Jeter's books came out, and Mariano Rivera's book came out. All our books came out the same month. I'm having dinner in a restaurant, and I get a call, and it's a friend of mine, a cheerleader, and he says, you're number 1 on Amazon. I said, how could that be? I said, what about Mariano Rivera? He said, his book's number 2. What about Derek Jeter? His book's number 3. What about Lou Gehrig? His book's number 4. So I took a screenshot. We all know what that is. Can we do a selfie, by the way, before? Because we didn't have selfies in '79. So I sent my mother this screenshot, and at the very bottom of it I write, "I guess more people wanted to read about me." And isn't that what it's all about? So here's my message. My message is simple, is if you love something, do it. And if the people that love you don't agree with you, you may still have to do it anyway. So another side note is this is the field that I got cut from football in 10th grade. Did not forget that. But I was like 145 pounds, and I don't know, I was a wide receiver on a team that Jerry Figiani ran the ball for touchdowns, so I didn't have much of a chance. With that, I am beyond humbled and honored. This is, to me, maybe the greatest thing I've ever done, personally or whatever. And part of being in the Hall of Honor and part of being in the alumni is I am available to anyone who went to Sachem High School before, during, after, to help you in any way you can. Yes, I can get you to meet Odell Beckham if that's what you want. But if you want other stuff, I could help you with that too. So I'm proud. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me today.